And I think that that's as much a product of long-term sort of ethnic collectivist politics in the region, coupled with just full-orb political corruption in that region.
Yeah, so I mean, when we're talking about Sharia in Iraq, that's one thing. When we're talking about Sharia in America, give me a break, man. You might as well say the sky is green and the grass is blue. It's stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, it is stupid. It's really a form of derangement, but it's the sort of thing that happens every time we have a year that's equally divisible, and you have people who are running for office on a Republican ticket. One of the go-to refrains that they always use, of course, is to try to rally people against some perceived and usually either exaggerated or completely manufactured foreign threat. In this case, of course, Islam serves that bill perfectly.
Yeah, well, and, again, back to the Cold War thing. There is no caliphate. There was a Soviet Union. There is no caliphate. There were communists in the State Department. There are no Muslims with any power in this country at all, Will.
No. The thing that I find really interesting about this manufactured controversy over the so-called Ground Zero Mosque, first of all, is the fact that there is a Ground Zero Mosque. That is to say that there was in the South Tower of the World Trade Center a designated prayer space where Muslim employees of the private firms that were represented in that building, that had office space in that building, they gathered to pray. They were probably overtaken in prayer when they were attacked on September 11th. And so their remains are commingled with those of the other victims on that site. So there already is, if you will, a Ground Zero Mosque. It's in particulate matter there at that mass murder site. But when you're talking about Imam Rauf, you got a guy here who really looks to me like a collaborator, to put it in blunt terms. He's indecently close to the State Department. He's been very friendly to the FBI. As the, I think, New York Observer just a couple of weeks ago pointed out in a splendid work of investigative journalism, the people who put up the money for the Kadobi Institute are hardwired into the CIA and the Pentagon, and this guy is promoting a message which, as far as I can tell, is one intended to foment interreligious amity and cooperation. And yet, every time you turn on Fox News, if you're silly enough to consume that, or listen to any of the Republican-aligned talk radio programs, and this subject comes up, we're always told that these people exercising some telepathic gift just know that this man lusts incessantly to impose Sharia law on this country from some secret readout on the 16th or 17th floor of this Islamic cultural center that may or may not be built. You know, when people have plighted their trust to, if you will, to a political party that is entirely propelled by a sense of being besieged and encircled and being helpless, that's the kind of fantasy they grab onto. Mm-hmm. And it's almost impossible, short of some kind of Damascene conversion, to take somebody from that frame of mind into one that's more receptive to the way the world actually is.
Yeah.
And I'm finding that many of my relatives are suffering from a very bad case of what we're just describing.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's been a while since you were a Bircher, and of course everyone knows I always thought you were really the only reason I liked the John Birch Society at all was because you wrote for the New American magazine. And, but anyway, going back in history, you remember, with them for a long time, and the John Birchers are conspiracy theorists by definition. The organization is about exposing the insiders who control the country, et cetera. But it's always powerful people. It's always David Rockefeller and the Bilderberg Group and people who own, massive military, industrial, and banking firms and whatever. So if the Birchers are ever demagoguing, they're demagoguing up at power, not down at the weak. And what bothers I just can't get my head around how much like what I learned in history, this reminds me so much of Germany in the 1930s, where the weak and the powerless Jewish members of our society, they all have secret telepathy, and they all are out to get us, and they're the reason that everything is bad, they're the fifth column destroying everything. They're all in on it together to destroy our wonderful German nation and whatever. We know what it led to, Will.
Yeah, we do know what it led to, and I think that you can make a case that all you need to do is transpose the terms and some of the social circumstances very slightly, and you've got pretty much the same ugly song, the same symphony of collectivist ugliness being performed in a slightly different key here. When you talk about the idea of demagoguing the powerful as opposed to the powerless, I agree with you wholeheartedly. The idea is that you're supposed to be, if you will, kissing down and kicking up rather than kissing up and kicking down.
Right.
And one of the reasons that I ended up where I am and the Birch Society ended up where it is right now is because we had a disagreement over that. They wanted to join the ranks of people who were practicing the kiss up and kick down routine. And that needs to be reversed from what that organization is supposed to be about. Robert Welch, the founder of the movement, whatever we can say about the guy, he was not a religious figure.
Right.
Specifically said that there are things within the...
That's it, Will. I'm sorry. We're all out of time. Everybody has the heroic William Norman Grigg. The book is Liberty and Eclipse. The website is freedominOurtime.blogspot.com. You're the best, man. Thank you.
God bless you.